going on, Jerome? It's beautiful Friday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. That's right. Friday, allegedly payday. Venmo's wide open. Not saying, I'm just saying. Not saying. Just saying. So for the Vikings, practice number 2 in the books yesterday, and obviously it's practice. Obviously, it's really difficult. Well, it's not difficult. It's the opposite, actually. It's very easy to get hyped up over small little tidbits, little clips, little beat reporter reports about J.J. McCarthy looking good, slinging Sam Darnold looking good. Fully understand that. And it's a completely different beast once it's full contact, once it's a game situation. But you got to be pretty hyped about the way things have gone. And Darnold and McCarthy, by and large, have looked crisp. They've looked confident. And that's half the battle because tools-wise, both these guys have the tools, right? They have hoses for arms, right? And Darnold obviously just never got together with the Jets or the Panthers, but there's a myriad of reasons for that. And McCarthy, I mean, how could you not root for J.J. McCarthy? I mean, look at that All-American smile, man. Like, if you were casting America the movie or football the movie, J.J. McCarthy would be the quarterback. He'd be good, man. But McCarthy looking good, had a great deep ball. Also, what's great is he is getting first team reps. He is clearly quarterback too. It's completely flipped the script from OTAs because during that time, when McCarthy was with the 3s and Nick Mullins was with the 2s, it was just like, okay, baloney. And then Kevin O'Connell just leaving that crack open. So even though I still think Sam Darnold is a prohibitive favorite to be your week 1 starter, competition is good because Darnold knows that he has a great opportunity here it's not so much earning the job for the Vikings long term, it's to show off that he can still do this and get a job elsewhere next year and get paid. That's basically it, right? But if McCarthy continues to impress and look good, obviously the fans are rooting for him, and even though Kevin O'Connell has this plan in place, Sam Darnold's not infallible. He could be supplanted, even though the Vikings paid him $10 million. Again, $10 million, it ain't bad, right? It's basically what Jabroni Brisket got paid to be the bridge quarterback with the Patriots. It's what Mariota got paid to be the bridge quarterback with the Commies, give or take a couple million. That's basically it. So, I don't know. Stranger things have happened, man. That's right. Also, speaking of strange, not gonna lie, I love the Hard Knocks Giants offseason. Frankly, I find it more interesting than the Hard Knocks training camp, and slightly more interesting than Hard Knocks in season. I think that is pretty good. But the whole draft process is interesting, and they had a nice moment with Joe Shane and his family, all just taking up the couches, laying down on his couch like, but laying on the couch like Dayball was when he was talking to Roma Dunes. Like, come on, man, sit up, bro. Come on. But they talk about which quarterbacks to take, and Joe Shane's son actually chimed in. All the girls want J.J. McCarthy because he's good looking. Now, we've said our piece. Like, obviously, all American good looks, but the broccoli hair has to go. I understand that that's the style nowadays, and I'm coming off like a curmudgeon old man, doing the Charleston here. Back in my day when we were courting, no. But I don't know. So here's the thing. So again, it's the son relaying things, right? And the son, looks like, a high schooler or whatnot, and obviously he's relaying what the girls think. So I mean, McCarthy, is he a heartthrob? Sure, but long story longer. Why I hate Gary Payton. So in middle school and then into high school, all the girls that I was crushing on back in the day, they all, for some reason, they all had a crush on Gary Payton. I can't explain it because this is at the dawn of the internet age. So that wasn't really a thing. Obviously, the Supersonics were not in market. And it's not like there was League Pass back in the day, so it's not like everyone was watching Gary Payton and Sean Kemp and Detlef Schrempf and coached by George Karl, Olin Polynice, Jim McIlvain. Man, that's Nate McMillan. Let's go. But it was so frustrating, especially in middle school when you have no idea what's going on. You would want to find companionship, but of course it's like, well, he's really good looking, Gary Payton, and you don't look like Gary Payton. It's just so stupid. Like, eventually I got frustrated. I started wearing number 20, tried to be like Gary Payton. Like, I was such a hater of Gary Payton's for so long. Like, I was so glad when he failed with the Lakers in 2004. I was really bitter when he finally got a ring, like sitting on the bench with the Heat in 06. But I changed my number to 20. Like, I started having a horrible jump shot and just playing defense. Well, that was me anyway. I don't know. Just jealousy, man. Just jealousy. So I feel like, again, circuitous route. I feel like this is what this kid's projecting. All the girls just want JJ McCarthy because he's good looking. It's funny, man. It's funny. But yeah, so Gary Payton, he's still on the list. Although, not gonna lie, the Gary Payton shoes are fantastic. Like, they're up there for me in terms of the holy grail of like collectibles I need to get once there's more disposable income, once these kids are out of the house. So like these, like the penny foam posits, the Kobe Adidas Audi TT shoes. Let's go, man. Not going, unfortunately. So Shaq Griffin still waiting word to hear about the severity of the ankle injury, and of course 2 practices, 2 cornerback injuries. It's just really unfortunate, man. But hopefully it's not anything serious, because I mean, Shaq Griffin, he's a vet. And he fits in stylistically exactly what Flores wants to do on defense, holding down the left cornerback spot. And he looked good at OTAs. So hopefully, knocking on all the wood, we're talking about something where you rest for a couple days, get back to 100%, and get back after it. That's really it. But the Vikings could be looking for cornerback help. And I don't think that he just I don't think Xavier Rhodes just put this out there because of the timing, but I think he legitimately wants to know. Contemplating on which Vikings game I should attend, missing the Skull Nation. Now, Xavier Rhodes, when he was at his peak, he was a bad man. Like Xavier Rhodes, Pro Bowls, All Pros, like 2017, like he was that dude, man. But unfortunately, just injuries, plagued the rest of his career. He's only 34. And, he's bounced around the league a little bit, but I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So Osco asked him, can you still play? Forever. We might be getting to that point, because if you think about it, Xavier Rhodes is the same age as Patrick Peterson, and he's only 1 year older than Stephon Gilmore. I believe that's Mr. Gilmore's. I don't know. If it gets to the point where we're signing Xavier Rhodes, it's a bad spot, man. I don't know. But some roster moves, like we talked about last night. Jabril Cox is on the roster, as well as Jacoby Francis. Also goes by Kobe Francis, apparently. Mekhi Blackman went on IR. KJ Cloyd, the UDFA linebacker out of Miami, was waived. Now, Jabril Cox is interesting because I really loved him in the 2021 draft. Played at NDSU as well as LSU. Has been injured. Just hasn't really launched his career, but we'll see what happens there. And Francis is probably just more of a camp body at this point. But as we said, like, it wouldn't preclude them from making a larger splash at the cornerback spot. Like, I would love to trade for Reek Woolen from Seattle. Like, if the new regime doesn't see him fitting in there, or I would absolutely love if they signed Stephon Gilmore. I mean, just go ahead. Like, Lattimore, I understand it, but I feel like the draft capital for Lattimore would be a little bit more than be comfortable with at this moment in time. But who knows, man? Also, who knows? So, Lions, Diamond Dan Campbell, cutting a promo with Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania. Although I feel like Dan Campbell could have been a pro wrestler, and that's a pretty common track where you have a former football player, like The Rock, like Roman Reigns, like Brock Lesnar. Well, Brock Lesnar didn't play. But yeah, former football player gets into pro wrestling. I feel like Dan Campbell could have gotten it. And if he wasn't such a serviceable backup blocking tight end for a number of years, like he could have been. He could have done it, man. But whatever. The Lions can have Hulkamania. We got Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns, fantastic story too. I love it, man. So there you go. Second to lastly. So Larry Fitzgerald was asked by Doogie about the Vikings' chances this year. Apparently, he saw Fitz. Former Cardinals wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald says it would be a tall task for the Vikings to make the playoffs in a difficult division, he told Doogie. Quote, the reality is the other teams in the division got better this offseason. They're not getting any favors there. All right, so, yes, you can make the case that the Bears got better, but they needed to because they were bad. They were no bueno. And then the Lions, the Lions really get better. Adding Terry and Arnold, sure. And the Packers, outside of signing Xavier McKinney and Edgerrin Cooper, where did they really get better? I just don't really see it. But it's okay. Hey, Fitz, if instead of talking ish about the Vikings, how about you sign up to be wide receiver 5? We could use some depth. Can you play special teams? Because you're going to have to, buddy. Also, hey, why don't you pay attention to Trent Sherfield and Thayer Thomas? You can learn a thing or two about the modern game, Fitz. Come on, man. Holy angels. Let's go. Lastly, so straight from the This Is Very Stupid department, Ari Merov, the Raiders appear to have a Patrick Mahomes Kermit the Frog doll at training camp. So Patrick Mahomes, his voice sounds like Kermit the Frog. It really does. So the Raiders DBs are just like, oh, I'm Kermit the Frog. Oh, I'm Patrick Mahomes. Look at me. I have so many Super Bowl rings. I literally own your team more than Mark Davis does. This is a stupid idea. You don't think that Mahomes, Mahomes seems like pretty carefree, happy-go-lucky guy. But he's going to see this, and he hates the Raiders. The Raiders hate him. It's fine. It's fine. It's one of the low-key, underrated rivalries in the NFL. It goes way back like chiropractic. But Mahomes is going to see this. And first game against the Raiders, he's just going to drop the Darjameen blend on them, full-on teabag. Talk about 5, 6, 7, 8 touchdowns, and then halftime's going to come, and then is there going to be more? Don't poke the bear, man. He's got Xavier Worthy now. Mahomes actually has a deep threat. So we'll see. But, again, this is very, very stupid. But it's the Raiders, so, Anyways, that's it. That's Vikings News Dump on this beautiful Friday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol. Production value.